Hello, this is Dominic from Software Without Code. Today we'll be creating custom email addresses by purchasing custom website domains. This will cost less than $2 and only take a few minutes to set up. The first thing we want to do is go to namecheap.com. The link is in the description. And everything we want to do today can be done entirely within Namecheap. I like Namecheap over other domain registrars simply because, as I understand it, they don't store your domain search results and jack up the prices. But let's jump right in. Log into Namecheap if you have an account, or create one if you don't. When you first log in, this should be the first screen you see. The black box at the bottom of the screen is where my current domains are. Yours will be there too if you've purchased any with Namecheap already. Of course, I expect most of you watching this video probably won't have domains there, so you can just ignore that. The first thing we want to do is get back to the main page to search for domains to purchase. You can do so by clicking on the top left Namecheap logo, like so. Our next step is to search for the domain we want in the search bar provided. I'm going to search for Software Without Code, but you will want to search for your own brand or name. You don't need to enter .com, .net, .org, etc., which, by the way, these are known as top-level domains. So I'm just entering the phrase Software Without Code and hitting enter on my keyboard now. You will see a whole page of results with various top-level domains. We see .org, .net, .ai, and many more. I'm intentionally going to pick a really cheap one. The .club one looks really cheap for a top-level domain, and that's in Canadian dollars, so let's go with it. I can select it by hitting the Add to Cart button. Several other options will show up in a drop-down after a second or two. We only really care about the email option in the box on the top right. This is an add-on that is free for 2 months without the obligation to subscribe afterwards. It will let us set up one email inbox for this domain. I am now clicking the Add to Cart button, like so. Let's click the View Cart button on the right side of the screen to continue through the purchase. On this screen, you can see the various options associated with your domain. You don't need to worry about most of them. But with that being said, WhoisGuard protects your identity when people look up who owns your domain. All domains are public and can be looked up very easily. To prevent your personal information from showing when they look it up, make sure WhoisGuard is toggled on. Some domains, such as .us, don't allow for WhoisGuard. I can tell you from personal experience, it is a huge pain to constantly be getting phone calls at weird hours from international numbers trying to sell you something. Also, there is an auto-renew option. If this is a domain you want to keep for a long time, you should make sure the auto-renew is enabled. Otherwise, you should deselect it like I am doing. Many domains will renew for more than the first year price, like this .club domain. You can also purchase more years for a domain if you'd like, but I'm going to stay with the minimum of 1 year. You will notice at the bottom that the private email option is there, selected for 2 months without any cost associated to it. If you plan on keeping it past 2 months, you may want to select auto renew for the email, but I'm going to keep it off. Also, keep in mind there will be a fee associated with it after 2 months if you choose to auto renew. Now that we're satisfied, let's hit confirm order on the right to continue with our domain purchase. This is the purchase confirmation screen. It will just show you a summary of all your information. I'm scrolling to the bottom of the screen, but will cut slightly ahead as I do in order to make censoring my private information in this video easier. The final step is to read Namecheap's terms of service and agreements, then check the box saying you agree if you do. I am now clicking on the Pay Now option just underneath it. Finally, it will do its thing, spinning away and registering your domain. After it's done, we will see a receipt page. I'm scrolling to the bottom of the page where you can find some informational links. I'll click on the Get Started link for private email, but only to show you that it exists. We won't actually need this for setting up our email. We're now staring at an informational screen on how to set up the Namecheap private email. We can ignore all the information on this page, however, because I'm going to show you what to do in a few moments. First, we'll need to navigate to our dashboard, and we can do that by hovering over our username in the top left corner of the web page after scrolling to the top. You should see the dashboard option in the popover menu that forms, and then we click on it. The dashboard will list all our domains with features such as email and the expiration date. You can hover over some of the icons for more information. I've censored all my other domains except the one that was purchased in this video. Click the Manage button on the right side of the domain to continue setting up the email. This page will contain all our domain-specific settings. You will notice on this screen you can control the auto-renew features and WhoisGuard. I will also show you another feature that I think is really cool. We can set up our domain to redirect to another domain using the redirect domain setting. So as an example, I don't want to host another website at softwarewithoutcode.club. I'd rather when users go to the .club domain that it takes them to my .com. I just set https softwarewithoutcode.com as the destination URL, hit the checkmark, and bang. Finally, we scroll down a little bit and we see the email settings with the option to add mailbox. Let's click on the Add Mailbox button. We are redirected to a screen that has further settings for a private email. We can choose to renew it automatically with the checkbox at the top, as well as see how much email/file storage we've used versus what is available. We're just going to navigate to the top of the form though and click the text button, Create Mailbox Now. This is where we set up the mail account. I will make the name Dominic at softwarewithoutcode.club and choose a password. After confirming the password in the text box, we can play with the mailbox storage value. Since this is our only mailbox, I'm going to leave the value at the max, but if you have multiple inboxes, you may decide to split up the storage space. Let's hit Save Changes. Now that we've done that, let's go over to the upward arrow button in the bottom right of the screen next to the Edit Storage button and click on it. We can then see an option, Open Webmail, by scrolling down a little bit. Let's click on that. Now we log in with the email and password we just created. Now that we're logged in, we get a familiar inbox feel. You may want to bookmark this page so you don't lose the link. We have our inbox, drafts, trash, etc., but you may not want to use a new webmail inbox. You probably want to integrate this with your existing setup through Outlook, Gmail, or whatever the Mac email program is called. Through trial and error over several years of setting up POP3 and IMAP configurations, I think I found the simplest and most reliable method to connect webmail to my email program of choice. The problem is broken into two parts. Set up email forwarding to get all incoming emails forwarded to a particular email address is step 1, and step 2 is to set up an alias in your email client of choice to be able to send as the email address. So in other words, step 1 is getting the emails to the email inbox or client that you want, and step 2 is being able to send from the email, like the .club email in this case. We're only going to set up email forwarding in this video because there's tons of tutorials online for how to create an alias from a Namecheap private email to do the send as for any of the hundreds of mailbox applications / clients out there. I will link to some in the description of this video. To set up email forwarding though, click the hamburger icon in the top right and select the settings option to navigate to settings. Next, we navigate to the Mail tab on the left in the Settings page and select the Auto Forward option. In the text box, enter the email you want to forward all your emails to. In this case, I chose my contact@softwarewithoutcode.com email. I am also going to check both boxes below for keeping a copy of the message in my inbox, and also just to make sure the forwarding is enabled with the Enable checkbox. Well, that's it. We can navigate away from this page or close it, and the forwarding will be working. You might want to do a sanity check though and just send an email to your new address to test it out. Thanks for watching. As always, if you have any questions about this video or suggestions for future videos, leave a comment below. Also, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it.